You're the host. You can start recording.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, please mark your attendance in chat box. Okay. You see, so far what we have done is we have just seen the introduction to the marketing, and now we are moving on to the concept of international marketing. Because many of the things we are going to will be talking here, they are relevant to the domestic marketing, the basic marketing concepts. So that is why it was essential that everybody should be at the same level, and at that time you shouldn't have any questions in your mind that what actually we are talking of. You see, marketing is a universal phenomenon, right? International marketing refers to the marketing of goods and services across your national frontiers or national boundaries. When the same marketing definition or same marketing operations, they cross their national boundaries, and now those marketing practices are being applied across the national boundaries. Uh, that is called international marketing, right? So marketing is basically a universal phenomenon. So based on the scope of a boundary, we say it is whether it's a national domestic marketing or international marketing. So within the domestic marketing, within the domestic, boundaries or host country, it is called domestic marketing, and when it crosses the national boundaries, it is called international marketing. So IM refers to the marketing operations of any company that sells or produces within a given country when the organization is part of or associated with an enterprises which also operates in other countries, right? So we say that a company is doing international marketing when it is located in a company but it has operations in multiple countries. For example, Ford is here, or Tesla is here, or some Hindustan Motors is here, or Toyota, Honda. They have operations in multiple countries, right? There is some degree of influence or control in its activities from outside the country in which it sells or produces. So the control or influence is from the outside. For example, the Honda cars are being sold in India, but influence, all models are developed, it is being controlled by the Honda group, which is based at Japan. The promoters, they live there. The board of directors, actually, they control our board of directors, which are in India. The process of planning and conducting transaction across national borders to create exchange that satisfy the objectives of individual and organization. So, what happens that when Ford is selling in India, it is not merely satisfying the objective of their Indian operations, but they are also contributing to their corporate objectives, which are located abroad as well. So when Ford company or Honda company in outside in their parent countries, Japan or America, wherever they are from, when they're they project their annual uh, profits or annual targets, they do not consider their domestic sales only. They also include their international sales or the profits that they would be generating from outside the country, and those profits, those will be flying back to their domestic countries, right? So that is the scope of you can say international marketing. International marketing doesn't mean that we are living in India and doing some marketing outside. So it may have some other forms as well, right? uh, it may be a small influence. For example, Hindustan Unilever is there, so it is a basically Dutch company, Anglo Dutch company. So Dutch and British, they are the owners of it, so they have influence, may not be very large influence, but they do have influence on Indian operations as well, right? So Indian conglomerate, they also satisfy their whatever their domestic objectives are there, and how much we are contributing to their profits as well. uh, the second, if you look at what is the difference between domestic and international marketing, that is quite obvious, we have already discussed, but here a little bit more crystal clear picture would be just in front of you. So is there any difference between marketing domestically and internationally? The difference is actually not there, but scope is different. You see, please try to understand that marketing concept are universal, right? They are universal. They are not going to change. Only the scope or context is going to change. Now, when we are saying domestic, we are talking of which context? Are we talking of Indian context or are we talking of international context? So that would change. Otherwise, concept as such, marketing per se, that is global, that is universal.
There are more hurdles in the international marketing, sir.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying is scope. You see, it is about, even if you are in Punjab and you want to, market something in South, hurdles are there, right? But more or less, those hurdles can be, easily overcome because ultimately we are working under same taxation rules. Maybe we are working under same legal environment, government controls, right? More or less some uncontrollable phenomena which we are aware of. So only the thing is we have to look at the only product mix only. So when our control or we have to just play with the product mix, then it is not a considered to be great hurdle, right? But when other than this, we have to look at other so many variables, then hurdles are, very, complex. So marketing concept are universal. The goal is to make profits by satisfying customers. So this is something we have seen in the definition of marketing, that ultimately we have to identify the needs of the customer, develop the product that would meet their customers need, and make up money out of it, right? Wait a minute, let me see. Everybody has marked your attendance. Everybody has marked that attendance. Should I copy it? Or anybody is left, please mark your attendance. If anybody has not marked it, do it now so that I may copy it. And after that, you won't be able to mark it. Okay, then I'm copying your attendance. And after that, you won't be able to mark it because give me 1 minute. Okay. Right. So we were here. You see, difference is that international marketing, all environments, all you can say environmental factors or on all environments have to be taken into consideration. When the marketing plan is developed and executed, we discussed about it brief on marketing plan, that what is marketing plan, how it is written. You have to write everything about your segmentation, STPs, segmentation, targeting and positioning, and then everything you have to write in marketing plan, that who are your target customers, what is the segments you'll be catering, what kind of product, price, and everything you are expected to charge. Or price may not be exact, but in terms of profitability, that would be the markup price, or whatever the pricing you are going to charge on this. So you have to write everything on this, that what is expected margins out of it, that will be merging out of it, right? Who would be your suppliers and largely where they are located and so on. So in marketing plan, everything is considered. Especially when you are writing marketing plan, you need to consider the legal environment. We are going to discuss everything in quite detail, maybe from next class. lecture today. We are just going to discuss the basic understanding of international marketing. So then we will be talking of all this, environments, legal environment, governmental control, and all this. Governmental control. What are the political environment there, or government? Which kind of government actually is there located? What are the philosophies of the government there? How much they actually encourage this kind of industries? To what extent they control the industry? Which kind of liberty is there? For example, we say that America is a country where, which is most business friendly. Why they are business friendly? Because there the control of government is minimum, right? On business, certain regulations are there, and they have to follow those regulations broadly. Certain guidelines are there, and those guidelines are to be followed, and that's okay. Then you can develop any product and market it, right? So weather and climate, which kind of weather and climate is there, whether your product is suitable or not, what are the cultural beliefs, right? Now if you look at the product, even the color does matter in Islamic countries. If you want to sell in something in black color, or these kind of colors, they won't buy it, right? They have entirely different type of colors they prefer, right? So buyer behaviors, right? So all these are controllable, uncontrollable elements, right? So you need to look at it. That is the major difference between domestic and international marketing, that there are many unknowns, or you have to bet on various things. You have to study various things before entering into the market. And it is not that it is done in overnight. There is a procedure of developing export network. We'll discuss it slowly. You see, if we look at this marketing environment, you see, sorry, we develop first marketing mix, which is more suitable to the local environment. You see, it is globally well seen that any company, if you find which is globally successful, you will find that the first thing is that it is very successful in the domestic market. In the local market, it is very, very successful. Why? Why this is a gradual shift from local market to global markets? Because you know, because it is a gradual learning process, right? It is a gradual learning process. You cannot, do everything over the night, or you cannot do altogether everything overnight. So you have a marketing mix that first, cater to your local market, and the environment is local environment. You see, there in the middle of it is the marketing mix, and it is surrounded by the local environment, local customers, right? Local competitors, local government control, legal environment, everything is local. Once you are successful to that, you have catered this market. Now you are ready to move to the regional, places. Regional place means, for example, if you look at ASEAN countries, more or less ASEAN countries, if you look Vietnam, Indonesia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Korea, China, Malaysia, all this country, they have very similarity between them, right? And if you, on the other hand, you look at India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, we have a lot of commonality between us, right? We share common cultures. So we move from local to regional. First of all, we move from local to regional. And even in look at American companies, what they do is they enter into Canadian markets, Mexican market, Latin American markets, and then they move to European, because they have a lot of commonality between them, right? Britain is very close to America. Britain is very culturally close to America. So whenever products are developed, they first offer to the European market, Canadian market, because a lot of commonalities are there, right? And then they are successful in the regional markets. Once they, footsteps are, there, and slowly then they move on to the global markets. But because by now they have created a lot of market for them, their brand is visible in the, outside the world. People have recognized the brand, they have financial power, muscle power is here. Now they have understood the complexities of the environment, different environmental complexities are there. Now the company has become habitual to handle complex environments. Now this is a time to enter into the global markets. Now this is a gradual step into the next level where they can enter into multiple regions, multiple markets at one time, and slowly, not exactly one time, but slowly, and then handle their complexities of their environment, and devise their strategies to handle different regions, right? So it is a gradual process from moving from local markets to outside market. And as we move from local market to regional to global, there is change in marketing mix, right? Some of them, local marketing, local market, the marketing mix may be little different as compared to regional markets and from the global markets. So as and when required, there is change in marketing mix. You see, what are the major international marketing decision? If you look at the same is we have done it in domestic market, and then again it is the same. But here we are not talking of in terms of STP, but here the decisions are a little different. Again, whether it is domestic market or international market, decisions have to be made. If you remember what we discussed in domestic market decision, that how to segment, which should be the basis of segmentation of the market, targeting of the market, mapping the market, right? Mapping the attractiveness of the market, and then choosing some selective markets or segments out of it, so that objectives of the company are achieved. In international, again, the decisions are there, but those decisions may be a little different. The first, it moves in this direction as shown in the arrow. You see, first of all, we have to look at when we are planning to go out. When we are planning to go out, now a company which is well established within the domestic market, now it has ability and capability to go out. First thing they have to always keep in mind that looking at the global marketing environment. First of all, the first thing is they have to look at it that what is, or they have to contemplate the global marketing environment, right? Whether it is the right time to go abroad or not, whether the environmental global environment is peaceful to enter into the other markets. So sometimes during the turbulence time, for example, say Russia is already in war and you are entering into the Russia. So that would be the worst time to enter into the Russia, because that is, they are already passing through the time when they are into war and they need foreign currencies. They need forex, foreign currency. So that time entering into this market means blocking your payment. So you never know, their government may all of a sudden put a cap on foreign remittances. Their government may refuse to give the foreign remittances and your money would be blocked. Your buyer would say, sorry, my government is not allowing me to release the payment because there is a cap on foreign remittances. I cannot say you have to take $50,000 from a Russian buyer. They release only $5,000 or $10,000, and he will make excuse that, look, my government is not allowing me. What should I do? It doesn't mean that I do not have money. I do have money in my bank account, but that money I cannot release. If you want in my domestic currency rubles, you can come and take in rubles, but I cannot send my money out in dollars because my government is not allowing because of emergency. So in such cases, huge emergencies are there. So looking at the global marketing environment, that is the right environment or right time to enter into the global market or not. Deciding whether to go international, and then go that how to go into it. Deciding which markets to enter, then you have to look at it which markets to enter. When we looking at the global marketing environment, deciding whether to go international, look at your own capacities, that do we have budgets to enter into this market? Do we have financial muscle power to enter into global markets or international market? Then if your decision is yes, that we have now abilities and we do have sufficient skills, companies should enter into the market when they do have not only financial, but they should have human skills also to enter into the market, right? Human skills in the sense that there must be sufficient manpower they should be skillful to cater the needs of international customers. So when your answer to these questions is yes, then deciding which markets to enter, then you have to decide that which markets to enter. Should we enter into the market which is totally diverse market, but it may be very fast growing market that may be away diverse. Our knowledge about that market is very low, but no doubt that market is growing very fast. On the contrary, which markets, those markets which are very familiar market, very close to our regional region or within our region, but they are not growing very fast. For example, say on one side it is Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, these markets are there. Or on the other hand, Brazil is a market, or South Africa is a market, or Mexico is a market, which are far away from the market. We have little knowledge about them, but they are very profitable because those economies are growing very fast. Then you have to look at it and decide which market to enter. You have to look at the lucrativeness of each market, and then decide on this that do we need to enter into this market or not. Then very important decision is now how to enter this market. There could be various ways of entering into this market. We'll be talking of it quite in detail. That you see, should we do exports? Export is one way of entering into the market. You are not putting any money outside, but just we are putting only exports are being done. Goods are being manufactured in the domestic market. So what is at the risk is the kind of money that is involved there, right? On material in transit that is there. Or it could be joint venture, it could be wholly owned subsidiary, or it could be franchisee, right? Licensing is there. Which way you want to enter into the market, right? Deciding on the global marketing program, that is very, very important. That do we need to have a global marketing program or regional marketing program or country specific marketing program, right? You see, earlier companies used to have country specific marketing programs. Nowadays, more and more companies are adopting global marketing programs. Very beautiful examples, Levi's. If you look at Levi's jeans, the quality of jean that is available in India, the same quality and the same price of jean is available in Europe and America as well. Same jean, same size, same price, same cloth, same advertisement. Everything is same. And that is their global marketing program. But it was not always there. It has come into place in last few years only. Earlier, they had a very, country specific products. Look at Domino's. Look at these food companies, McDonald's and Domino's. They have country specific programs because the kind of food we consume, Americans, they do not consume the same food. Far East Asian countries, they do not consume the same kind of food. Europeans, they do not consume same kind of food. So what we have is we have country specific program, right? Look at the cars. They are also country specific. Now, Maruti Suzuki has presence in India. Suzuki has plant in Pakistan as well. The Maruti 800 or Alto 800 being sold in India and Alto 800 being sold in Pakistan, there is a difference. Quality difference is there. There the quality is very down. Reason being, their purchasing power is comparatively less. Our expectations from the company are higher. Their expectations are that the car should be cheap. So their quality is much lower as compared to the quality that is being sold in India. Their bumpers are even more inferior as compared to what are being installed in Indian cars. Their dashboard is even rather inferior as compared to what is installed in Indian cars. Their car features are poor as compared to ours. Then the cost is also less, no doubt about it. Right? And they are also market leaders there as well. They are the market leaders the way they are in India. So they have a global marketing program that wherever the market we enter, we should be, leader there. We have to adjust our product to meet their requirement. That what is their affordability? We will provide them a product that is affordable but profitable as well. And we are able to capture a significant market share. We are the market leader there. So they are market leader in Pakistan, they are market leader in India. We do not export anything to Pakistan. We are not exporting cars to Pakistan, or they are not exporting cars from India to Pakistan. They have their own plant there, production facilities there, right? So whether to take global marketing program or country specific marketing program, that has to be decided. And deciding on the global marketing organization, then we have to look at it that how this global program would be, implemented. Do we need to have a global marketing organization? Do we have to have a centralized marketing office, or we need to have country specific marketing or offices that will cater their local needs? So in most of the countries, companies, these are their local marketing offices. But as I said, in case of Levi's, in case of Nike, in case of Google, or Amazon and all this, they do have you know uh, centralized offices or centralized marketing organizations, those who actually take the major decision on this, that how the things will be. For example, in case of Amazon, if you look at Amazon services, more or less everything that the processes which are followed in America are being followed here as well. Although there in India we have a cash against delivery which is not in India, so certain here and there some changes are there, right? Here and there some changes are there, but processes are same. The same software that is being used here, the same kind of software is being used here, right? And call centers and how the customers are provided with the services, they are more or less same. Here and there small changes could be there to meet the local needs, but they are not entirely different. So this is also needs to be decided that how can we bring down the cost if we are using global marketing program rather than local marketing program. Wait a minute. Okay. Please read this slide, and then I'll come to this. Read this slide. Objectives of international marketing. I'm just coming. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry. Okay. So hopefully you must have read this slide. So objectives of international marketing. You see, first of all, the identifying the needs and wants of international customers. undertaking IMR means international marketing research and analyzing market segment, seeking to understand the similarities and differences in customer groups across the different countries. This is something, if you look at this point, the first point, this is something we discussed in, what is this? STP. What is this?
STP,
Segmentation. We're talking of segmentation and
targeting and
targeting.
position.
Yeah. So we are yet not talking of positioning here, but we are talking of segmentation and targeting, that we need to take international marketing research to analyze the market segments. That what actually are the different market segments here, and what are the similarities between them? We need to divide the market based on what are the similarities between them and differences between them. If two segments are there, what are the similarities and differences between them, and what are their sizes? That what is the size of that particular segment, right? And then target which should be their actually target segments. Achieve global customer satisfaction, adapting products and services and other elements of marketing management to satisfy different customer needs across the country. So first is segmentation and targeting, then achieving global customer satisfaction. Adapting, it is not adopting, it is adapting. Adapting means changing the product specifications according to the needs of the customers, right? It is called product adaptation. Product adaptation means changing the product to meet the needs of the customers, and services, of course, adapting the services, change